This is yet another video for those who have been living under a rock, so to say, for the past around like year and a half, where all this fucking we go gym stuff, all this very nice self-improvement content has taken off. For some reason, if you're just stuck in this 2020, 2021, whatever, Fortnite, funny moment, XQC, Twitch stream, yippee, clicks moment, this is the message that you need to hear. Now, before I started fucking spazzing out, thank you very much for sticking with me through that great word salad that I just said. And yeah, it's time to move on from the quarantine lifestyle. Again, this is meant for the very lowest of the low people who are just absolutely at the bottom, fucking hate their lives, and cannot seem to figure out why. I can seem to figure out why. Let's get into it. This all comes down to habits. And it all comes down to changing the ass habits that you're used to from this past few years to new shit that you can do that may seem a little bit harder. In reality, it's not all that harder. Because especially when, you consider the fact that if you stick with the ass habits, you're going to develop a bunch of mental problems and you're maybe going to kill yourself. And that is going to be, less preferable than, oh, woe is me, I have to actually go socialize and talk to people. Now, that brings us into our first point. Instead of socializing mostly on Discord, because I know Discord was synonymous with human connection for the past few years, you need to get out there and make some real friends, my guy. This isn't to go into any specifics. I have other videos coming and already, on the way, already out about most of these things. But this is just to spread the awareness. You have to make some real friends. It's not even fucking close. Discord calls, the amount of power people have just by, being able to mute you, kick you, fucking talk over. Yeah, sure, sometimes it's funny, but just, the amount of mental illness you get from having that as your only source of human connection, it's very sad. Please make some friends. Number 2 is a lack of discipline and any routine. Now, I know, especially for the, fucking Zoom online learning shit, that took away a bunch of what most people's only form of routine is, which is they were forced to go to school each day. Now they weren't even forced to do that because all their fucking Zoom classes were useless and they were just being bombed and trolled by 2Mad and all this shit, saying the N-word in their little algebra class, and they're like, oh, okay, I guess I might as well not even go. This creates a serious rift, hole in your discipline and routine that ends up in pretty much causing a good amount of people's depression, right? Because when you don't have a structure to your life and you're just kind of floating, you'll take the path of least resistance, which means that you won't make any real progress towards anything, and you'll just you will not have a good time, let's just say. Now, the new shit to do for this is just to realize the fact that you felt how quickly the last 3 years passed when you had no routine, no discipline, pretty much. Make the next 3 years count, okay? If you really sit with that realization that, holy shit, March 2020 was a third of a decade ago, then you'll be pretty quick to get up here, get up from your crusty-ass, swamp-ass chair, and set up a habit tracker or a timetable or just a plan. Even mentally is the first step. But ideally, you want to write down a plan of what you want to do for the day, for the month, fucking goals, all that good shit. Again, this is not going into specifics. This is just outlining a base roadmap that you can elaborate on further, obviously. Make the next 3 years count. Number 3 is stop investing serious time in any video game. Now, if you touch a video game, you're immediately gonna shit yourself and die. I mean, yeah, go that route if you want. In my mind, it's kind of like any other kind of bad activity that fucking normal people do right now. In the 1880s when everyone was, big, strong, good, masculine man, according to all these fucking Andrew Tate people, actual sex offenders. According to all these people, it's surely these people back then weren't having several drinks and beating their families. So some bad habits at the end of the day have always existed. Are they optimal? Nope. Will you be better off if you eliminate them? Yep. But are they the end of the world? Nope. So instead of drinking four-fifths of vodka and then going home and beating your family, now you just spend an hour on fucking Ark Survival Evolved. So yeah, it's not optimal, probably a big waste of time. If you can eliminate it, go ahead. But the biggest point is to not cut out any time for it specifically, and to not invest in it, as I know some people have have had aspirations over the past few years of like, yeah, I'm gonna become fucking esports, I'm gonna win Fortnite, I'm gonna win FNCS and make 30K a day. That's not gonna happen at this point, okay? And you are rowing on land. You are in a boat and you're rowing on dry land. You're winning you're fighting a losing battle if you're still realistically investing any time in caring about a video game. Now, you can replace this with pretty much anything. You just need a thing that you do. For most people, if you don't want to be all that creative but still want the good amount of benefits, this is just going to be the gym. It's a very classic thing of like, hello, I play Minecraft, but I no longer play Minecraft, and I get my bench to 120 kg, and then women like me. I haven't gotten to either of those two milestones yet, so you can fucking try and see if you can get there before me. Unlikely, but the main point is to replace any video game, or the next point we're going to get into, any streamer, with a new thing that you do, right? Now, that was a fucking... Okay, my chair almost broke. Now, another ass habit, watching streamers. I cannot believe that I used to fucking sit down, and part of my day was just to watch XQC. I know. Fucking admitting that is only slightly less challenging than coming out in a Sharia law country. I am joking. It is much less challenging than that, but basically... It still was a little bit of a punch to fucking admit that I used to watch XQC. But yeah, it's not even that funny. But once you get past it, it's just like, brain dead content. Please stop. Same with any other streamer. You're just making them money. If you really, really like the idea of making other people money and, just ruining your life, then go ahead. But if not, then I have some funny ideas. Instead of watching streamers, you can read books. I know. Sounds extremely interesting. And you're gonna think this is a meme until you actually try it and you're like, oh, hey, this shit's actually fire. Well, I should have been reading the past 10 years of my life. Now, I have a few recommendations to start off with. Number one is How to Win Friends and Influence People. Here are the acronyms. No, anagrams. I don't know. The shortened versions. Number one is How to Win Friends and Influence People. This is a quintessential book for how to just not be a fucking weirdo in social situations, which I know several of you, including me at one point, needed. Number two is Way of the Superior Man. It's just literally a step up. You will most likely not... I read this once front to back, and I'm like reviewing it from time to time. I do not understand like half of the shit in there, but I can apply what I can, and then the things that will apply to me later in life, I will fucking, take them then. But there are a few very, very key principles that aren't really complicated whatsoever, like breathe fully. Fucking literally just breathe. That's one of the key things you can do. Also, the open up the front of your body. A lot of good shit in there. How to Win Friends and Influence People is a bunch of social situations. And number three, if you want to read something for fun, then I truly do recommend looking into your culture, whatever it may be. Whether that is Bulgaria and you have no culture and history, very sadly, or it's Hungary, and I'm not going to say that in public, but basically, you want to read stories from whatever country, your country's history, if you haven't done so already, because I think that will be a big source of interest for a lot of people that has not been explored yet. I'm doing this currently with a bunch of funny Hungarians who escaped persecution during World War II and did a bunch of cool things, including writing a letter that was signed by Albert Einstein that led to the Manhattan Project, which led to hit 2023 movie Sloppenheimer, so it's pretty cool. Now, last ass habit that you're probably used to is having a dogshit unstructured diet. The new shit to do for this one is to just set some standards, okay? Obviously, you will not immediately fix everything with your diet, and once again, this video was not to go into the very specifics. This is to, again, appeal to the lowest common denominator and try and get the lowest common denominator, if hopefully I'm using that phrase correctly, to become a little bit more based, right? And the first step to that is to set some standards for yourself. I have some pretty basic guidelines that should work for most people. Consult a healthcare professional, whatever the fuck people are forced to say before giving diet advice. But start out with at least half a gallon of water a day, probably closer to one if you're actually exercising, lol. Definitely closer to one if you're actually going to the gym and doing cardio. 2 to 4 eggs per day. It has a bunch of, especially the yolks. The yolks is the main thing you're looking for. The whites are just mostly protein. Fucking, but the yolks have like selenium, all these minerals and vitamins that you're not getting from most other modern normie foods. Fresh nuts and fruits every day. Fucking obvious no-brainer for anyone who has studied nutrition. That's where you're getting most of your vitamins and minerals from as well. And especially Brazil nuts and almonds, because funny Pakistani man made a video about how those are cool. And obviously some red meat if you are a male. If you're not a male, please contact me. But you want to have some sort of red meat if you can tolerate it 1 to 3 times a week. Because it once again has the same like minerals of the fucking eggs. It also has some like cholesterol, cool stuff, just more saturated fat. And obviously a shitload of protein. And it's also just fucking tasty, okay? Those are some basic diet guidelines. Obviously, those are not perfect. They can be tweaked. But if you start including these to where otherwise they would have been missing, I guarantee, actually I don't guarantee shit, but you can take my word for it that you will see a humongous difference in your mood as long as you do all these other things outlined and fucking, you know, you'll be on your path to winning. This will not change your life in of itself. This is again just a roadmap and the beginning of something much greater, because it is time to fucking leave this quarantine lifestyle. And these are the first steps that you can take to kind of do that. Also, last thing, sleep. A lot of people are fucking dog shit at sleep because of quarantine. I know for a fact that like 4 a.m. isn't an uncommon number, which is slightly scary. Make that be an uncommon number in your life. Make that be like an actual, potentially never go to sleep at 4 a.m. ever again if you can help it. That's fucking, it's probably a bad idea. Okay, speaking of bad ideas, it is way too late right now, so I'm about to fuck off, and hopefully you got some value out of this video. I may have to redo this one actually, I don't know, let me know in the comments if I sounded drab or disinterested in this one, and then maybe I'll make an updated, cool version of this. Fucking, yeah, have a nice night, or day, wherever you are in the world. Peace.